in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have our pink Zerg player, representative from Millennium, the guy who always seems to upset Koreans at the perfect time. Give it up for Millennium Stephano! And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, our red Protoss player, and up 1-0 in this best of 9. The beast from the east, the master of special tactics, NSTT Esports WhiteRa!
All right, so cross positions on this map as well. So both these guys should have plenty of time to get their strategies going here. I've got to imagine Stephano's going to go for the 3 hatchery, no gas build. It's such a standard right now, and you know he picked the map, so I think that's what we're going to see unless he's got something really crazy in mind. But WhiteRa, I don't know. We'll have to kind of wait. I mean, he tends to like to open with the Forge builds. I mean, it is the most economical. There's been a lot of Protoss players that have said like Forge expand or die trying, right? So I think that's what we're going to see here. But after that, we could really see WhiteRa do anything. I mean, it's really difficult to predict what this guy will do.
Yeah, and we'll see, as he's already patrolling back and forth, clearly has the intention to put down a Forge here eventually.
So hope he's not motion sick.
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah.
And actually, Gateway! Ho, 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 ho!
Ah, okay, so yeah, I wonder. Looks like WhiteRa may actually be planning on putting some pressure onto his opponent a little bit early. It's kind of strange to put the gateway down there by the bigger ramp. It does leave an opening to get into your base that Zerg can try to exploit too. So WhiteRa taking a little bit of a risk already, playing things a little bit tricky. So we'll have to see if Stephano decides to capitalize on that or if he just goes through with his normal build order.
Yeah, Stephano putting down pretty normal 15 pool right away, but he's not sent out a drone scout quite yet. He's checking for proxies, things along those lines.
Yep.
But it's going to be a while before he picks up on this gateway. Already WhiteRa trying to wall that in a little bit further. This, of course, will delay his expansion, but he's going to have out plenty of units to put on pressure.
Yeah, and he does start a Zealot immediately. Is he going to chrono boost it? He doesn't quite have enough energy yet, so we'll have to wait and see if he does that. Second hatchery going down right now for Stephano.
Yeah, let's take a look. He does have enough for a chrono boost, and it is being expended on the Zealot. We see a second one queued up right away. So,
all right, this is interesting from WhiteRa, putting a lot of that Zealot pressure on there. You know, we saw this last game, but it came after the Forge, so it came much later. With the timing of this, I don't know if this is something that Stephano's necessarily going to expect, because he has not yet scouted anything. Yeah, he's just sent out his overlords, and he has no idea that this is coming. He's only got 2 Zerglings on the way, so
yes,
he's definitely going to need to produce a lot more, and more Zerglings means less drones. That's going to give WhiteRa potentially a nice edge here.
And I'm very enamored with builds lately that are just disrupting your opponent, making sure that you throw them off their normal rhythms and timings, just disrupting them as much as possible. And WhiteRa is expanding behind this. He has his Nexus part of the way done now. One probe is being sent out, and the few Zerglings are going to make their way back in a second. He's actually going to run up to the Zelnaga Tower. He does see a couple of Zealots there. Unfortunately, those Zerglings are going to have to back away, and we'll see a bunch more in a second.
Oh yeah, 6 more on the way right now for Stephano. No sign of any sort of spine crawler or anything like that. He should be able to hold this off with just Queens and Zerglings. We're going to see kind of a similar situation at his second base as we did at his third base last game, and he did a great job last time. So
yeah, he loves this Zealot pressure, and we're going to see if WhiteRa can pull it off this go-around. So a bunch of Zerglings out. We'll see if these Zealots can control well enough to get a couple of kills. Stephano, actually, nice job surrounding one of those Zealots. Does a lot of damage, forcing WhiteRa just to run away and not really attack any of those Zerglings. So not many of those went down. Stephano cleaning that up very well.
Yeah, Stephano handled that brilliantly, but here's the thing that you want to check out. Like, he's making 6 drones right now, all right?
Yeah.
And so that just bumps him up to, let's see, yeah, he has a total of 23 drones. So right now he is even with WhiteRa and workers. Right now as the Zerg player, you want to be ahead. So you can see that even though WhiteRa didn't actually get in there and kill any workers or anything like that, he did cause damage to Stephano just by making him have to make something other than worker units.
That's true, that's true. We'll see how Stephano wants to follow this up. Now, he is throwing down his third hatch, so he's going to have nice economy in just a bit. We'll be able to produce off of those anytime soon.
Oh, yeah.
5 more larvae up as well. We'll be able to expend those on some drones as well. A couple of Zerglings are going to make their way up, but I believe that's a... Oh, is there another gap in there?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I think there might be a little one. Yeah, with 2 Zealots out there certainly isn't. With 1 maybe, but either way, Stephano didn't quite have enough Zerglings to exploit that, you know, because he's trying to get his economy going here. So WhiteRa, let's see, he's still chrono boosting out Zealots as well, and he's getting that +1 now. So He's got 2 gas, getting +1 weapons. He's making zealots. I wonder if we're going to see a Stargate here.
Yeah, we talked to WhiteRa. You know, he said he was going to give Stephano some different looks, things that really haven't been seen before. We do have another gateway being added right now, and this is certainly a different look. +1 such heavy zealot investment right at the beginning of the game. Now adding on his 3rd gateway.
Yeah, just 3 gates here. This is an interesting build order by WhiteRa, definitely. Oh, some Zerglings do get in, and this isn't going to do a ton of damage, but he will be able to see everything that WhiteRa is doing in his base, and that is where the real value comes in this. Sees the gateways, and I think he's actually going to be a little bit confused here, because this is not what you normally see from Protoss at this stage in the game.
Nice shot by WhiteRa not to take any probe losses so far, though. Of course, he has been denied a little bit of mining, but this last lone Zergling is going to do too much other than prove to be an effective mid-game scout. Now, back on Stephano's side of things, he has been producing off of 2 gas. He's gone up to layer tech. We'll probably see Evolution Chamber and a Roach Warren. There they are.
Yep, and I really like what WhiteRa's been doing with those 3 zealots that he's had walking around the map. He doesn't attack with them, he just shows them to Stephano, says, hey, I've got these zealots out there, just again making Stephano produce a few more offensive units than he would normally want to. So just the threat of those zealots out there is enough to kind of hurt Stephano's economy just a little bit here. So WhiteRa just trying to gain every little advantage he can.
Yeah.
But, let's see. Yeah, pretty normal mid-game from Stephano, getting that Evo Chamber, Roach Warren, getting a layer there too.
WhiteRa has actually arrived at the same conclusion that he did last game, just a very different way of going about it. It's still going to be 5 gates, it's still going to be +1 for now. We'll see if he adds on a 6th in a bit, but with the amount of resources he saved up, it looks like he just wants to utilize a big warp-in cycle here in just a second, and indeed, there's a few sentries and another base coming out over 3rd.
Yep, just taking that safe 3rd base here, and it should actually be quite safe. I mean, Stephano isn't really in a position to be able to put any pressure on his opponent here. I mean, despite the fact that he's got a Roach Warren out, he's not going to be able to like make a bunch of roaches and just go and push with it here.
Well, he does have 7 out, 2 more on the way, and he's flooding in a ton of links behind this. He's going to have 30 links in total once this is done. We'll see if he can get anything done with them, of course. And a photon cannon, very nice position on that, being powered by 2 pylons, but yet still remaining pretty defensive on the high ground.
Yeah, you know, I feel like this attack from Stephano is actually based a little bit on confusion. You know, he's not quite sure what WhiteRa is doing, because again, WhiteRa is doing things that are in a little bit different order than we normally see Protoss players do. So Stephano's just going to be like, all right, I'm just going to try to go in, attack, make you show your hand, then I'll know what I'm up against so I can kind of prepare later on. And gets a nice surround on those sentries.
Oh wow,
that is huge.
2 sentries already going down. No, actually 1 barely survived with just a couple of hit points.
I really thought he was going to get more than. Okay, does get 1 here. And yeah, the Roach is focusing down the sentries as well. This is going to make WhiteRa's army significantly weaker here.
Yeah, and the second photon cannon comes up though, so it's a pretty good spot for WhiteRa to make a stand. We'll see if he has enough units though. The Zerglings are all gone, it's just Roaches remaining. The ranged units are, the sentries are pretty weak against them. They are going to have to back up because most of their energy is expended anyway. WhiteRa bringing in a few more units, but the pressure just keeps on coming from Stephano. He just made another 14 Roaches, and he's flooding in lings after this.
Yeah, making a ton of units here. Not really worrying at all about his economy anymore, and WhiteRa's army is looking pretty small, although I do like those defensive cannons. That's helping him out quite a bit. Oh, the probes barely getting past those Roaches.
Yeah, a couple of cannons still doing their damage. They've proved to be worth their weight in gold, but WhiteRa, just what does he have on the field? He's out now by 60 supply, and the Roaches just keep streaming in. If Stephano can keep this up, it looks like he'll be able to equalize the set.
I think this might be it. I don't know if WhiteRa can hold this off. This is looking pretty grim for WhiteRa.
Yeah, well, he is certainly going to lose the space. He's already retreating with all of his probes, and it looks like Stephano's just going to give that up. He knows his opponent's receiving no economic benefit from it. There is an Immortal out now picking off a couple of Roaches, but the Roaches are trying to go through the cybernetics core on the right-hand side. It's going to fall down pretty quick.
Yeah, and those sentries don't have enough energy to keep force fielding. They're all out right now, and there's going to be multiple holes in this wall.
Yeah.
Here come the Roaches.
Yeah, there's just not a lot left over for WhiteRa. He's losing this Immortal, and it looks like Stephano, he's going to take game number 2. Yeah,
probes coming off the line to try to defend. You never want to see that happen.
No.
And another Immortal pops out, but it's just not going to be enough. GG.
There it is.
Stephano takes game 2. We have a tie series on our hands here.
Yes, we do, and a well-played game by Stephano at that, dealing with the trickery from WhiteRa with that early gateway pressure very, very effectively.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It didn't even phase him, you know. I mean, I think this is going to throw WhiteRa off a little bit. You know, we were